Hi everyone, it's Franny. Welcome back to another daily 10 minutes of prayer, meditation, and a miniature class on the topic of how having a worrying feeling can be an indication of our faith. Okay? We will first begin by finding a comfortable spot where you won't be interrupted. Somewhere quiet. Sit up straight. Feel how your head just rests on your shoulders. Let your shoulders relax and fall on your side. And take some deep breaths in and out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in one more time. Breathe out. Allow God to enter your heart with every breath and have Him fill your entire lungs out as you take these breaths. Breathe out one more time. Okay. Right, so the topic of today's class is actually how life is so simple and don't complicate it. A true Christian and a person of God lives with very little worries. And we always wonder, how is that? And the answer is actually very simple. They have faith in God and let their problems and worries of life sit in the hands of God. Life is super simple and should remain simple. It's kind of enough knowing that every day we have duties to complete and kind of like a checklist. We complete those days and at the end of the day we feel very satisfied. It's very important to not take too much of a workload that could then, potentially affect us or even affect activities with God or our relationship with God. And also not to take activities that can hinder our life or our surroundings. Living every day with the grace of God and forgiving yourself and others is very important. Loving yourself is very important and loving others is very important. And enjoying every moment of life is what life is actually all about. Enjoying everything that it has to offer. And life contains so much and we experience every possible emotion from it. The best feelings are joy, happiness, blissfulness, all those moments, and we should cherish them. Cherish every second of them and really thank God for those moments. And then there's other moments in life where we experience sadness, stress being a very common one that people feel today, and a lot of worrisome. And those moments we should actually, instead of feeling down about them, use them as a kind of like a character development moment, something that we could learn from, see what we could take from that experience and transform it into something better. See how we could learn from that and see what it teaches us and how it can change us for the better. For those moments, we should also be thankful to God, because if it wasn't for those moments, we wouldn't grow as humans or as individuals as well. And what does life have to say about these experiences, or what does the Bible have to say about these experiences? If we take a look at the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 25, it says, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what will you wear? Life is not more important than food, and the body more important than clothes. Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or stow away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they are? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour of your life?" And verse 31 continues by saying, "So do not worry, saying what we shall eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after all of these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all those things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has its own trouble of its own." So if we take this verse and put it in perspective to olden times, people back then were very satisfied with what they had. People compared to us were very poor back then. They were very satisfied with just having something to eat for every day or for the day. Today, we aren't satisfied with anything, yet we hold way more valuable things. We have more valuable things, I think, what they had back in the day. Humans have slowly become more ambitious and have more desires and feel the need and necessity to accomplish all of these things and try to fill that fulfillment feeling within themselves. It's not so much of a need or a necessity, it's more of a desire one. And it's kind of an empty one as well. Like the Bible verse above that we just talked about, there is no need to worry about the next thing of what you're trying to get. Worrying, in his words, adds another hour to your life. All that time that you spent worrying about it, it doesn't do you any good. It doesn't help you in any way. The time that you spent worrying about something that is out of your hands, just nothing for you, but waste your time and even make it miserable. Make your time miserable. Enjoy every day and enjoy tomorrow. The worries of the world will never stop coming. The world, life and the world is going to come at you with all these problems, but at least you can keep your happiness going, knowing that God is there next to you. Matthew again has something to say to us, kind of like a wake-up call, if that makes sense. In Matthew chapter 18, verse 3, it kind of goes to say like this. And he said, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like the little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." And what does he mean though? What does he mean by little children? What does he mean by that? I feel like if you really observe children and how they live every day, normally a child is always screaming of joy and happiness. They don't have any stress about what's tomorrow or what they did yesterday. They don't even feel the shame of behaving how they do in front of others because it makes them happy. Their happiness is the one thing that controls their actions and their emotions and everything. How they feel is something that we should thrive to feel every day. They're not worried about the mess that they made. They're not worried about the stuff that they have to do later or the things that they have to turn in or any due dates or anything like that. They simply look at rainbows and feel really happy about it. They simply play in the water and make a splash of mess out of themselves because it's happy. It's happiness that they feel. They're enjoying their happiness and living every moment to the fullest in that exact moment. And that's how we should live. As happy as children, living with the simplicity of a child. How simple they live and how little worriness they have. And our life shouldn't be so complicated. Like, yeah, sure, life throws curveballs at you and, nowadays life is filled with a lot of more complications and sometimes things that we're not even trying to see, but it gets thrown in our faces. You don't have to change anything about it. Simply accept it, but know that God is always with you and he's always going to make sure that happiness doesn't leave your heart because you're with him. Your life is sometimes a little difficult and sometimes we ourselves make it more difficult and more complicated than it should be. If there's one common factor, then it's us. But it's also our job to do something to change it or to feel better about it. Life comes at you in different angles and it's up to you and having God by your side in order to conquer it all, to live life knowing that you will always conquer through it. There's nothing that you can't do if it's not with him. Remember that the only way out of your problems is to get through. And the only way to get through is to be with him. Stay talking to him in this moment and allow him to sit next to you. Close your eyes and imagine yourself on this big, little boulder, rock. And you're sitting down there. And he comes next to you and he tells you if he asks you if he sit next to you. Really listen to his voice as he guides you through all the worries that you tell him. I remember that Bible verse that says, picture yourself as a child. Picture yourself as a child that is sitting actually on God's lap. And just have a conversation with him. Tell him your worriness. And he will listen to you. He's going to listen to you with the softest face. And just take all of that in. And return it back to you in a stress-free way. Because if you give God your problems and leave it to Him for Him to solve, if you have faith in Him, everything will always be okay. There's no point of worrying about something that you can't control, because He is always in control. And accepting that is the first step. And being with Him is the next step. And it will always be that step. Stay with Him, for all your problems will always be solved if you're with Him.